News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukutali.
And a wonderful morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the News First studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And of course, we broadcast on TV1, and we also broadcast at the moment live on Facebook. And in about half an hour or thereafter the program ends, it'll be available as always on YouTube. Now then, this morning our guest will be Dr. Nalinda.J Faraz, but hey, guess what? He's stuck in traffic, and he'll be here as soon as he can. Last I heard, he'd got through the Rajagiriya flyover, so that's good news. He won't be delayed more than that. But in the meantime, we're just coming out of a disaster of epic proportions, which is the flooding. And very unfortunately in Sri Lanka, over the last few years, we've had flooding and these sort of natural disasters happening with an alarming regularity. And that is, every year it seems to be happening, and every year the loss of life is worrying. And there's no good just say blaming it all on acts of God, which some of them most probably are. But there is something called being prepared. And one of the things that affects flooding is, of course, the state of our rivers. A very important component of flooding and mitigating flooding disasters is the management, the effective management of rivers. Yes, there is something called river management, and we have a little clip which we'd like to play you. Newsline would like to do that for you. We broadcast this last night on our primetime news, and it encompasses all what we're saying about effective river management. And here we go now. Let's have a look at that.
Some of the causes of flooding can be mitigated by effective river management. However, effective river management is achieved only when different local authorities through whose territory the river may flow work hand in glove with the irrigation department and other relevant authorities like the Sri Lanka Navy and the Central Environmental Authority. As these images show, the Kaluganga in terms of width reduces significantly in some areas, thereby causing an additional potential for flooding. Local authorities through whose territory the river flows have shown a remarkable apathy when it comes to the policing of river pollution, garbage dumping, illegal encroachment and sand mining amongst other issues.
We as a government and a country have failed to conserve our rivers and the water bodies, and especially the banks of the water bodies and the rivers, and failed to identify the importance of preserving and protecting them. But countries like Thailand and other countries in the same region, Asian region, and also the countries, European countries, they have actually taken a keen interest in preserving the water bodies and the rivers, because they know that if water bodies are polluted and destroyed, it will lead to a number of disasters, and it will lead to a number of diseases in human as well as in the species living in the water.
Experts agree that amongst other causes for flooding downstream is an issue surrounding what is known as river management. Dredging plays a vital role, and latest equipment assists in achieving better river management. The question that arises amongst activists is whether the spate of flood-related damage is because key issues like river management have been missed.
And that was our little clip about effective river management. On that note, we're going to take a short break, and after the break we'll be joined by our guest, Dr. Nalinda.J Faraz.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukutali.
And welcome back to Newsline. We're live from the News First studios in Dawson Street in Colombo, and we're joined by our guest this morning, Dr. Nalinda.J Faraz, Member of Parliament from the JVP. Very good morning to you, Doctor.
Good morning.
And I'm glad that the Rajagiriya flyover didn't delay you too much. We've had a chance to look at the effective management of rivers, because every year, Doctor, we get disasters after rains and so on, and it's not trying to place the blame on anyone, but I think we ought to be prepared for these sort of things.
Yes, it is very common scenario during the monsoon period, especially with river basins of Kalu and Kalani.
That's right.
In my area, Kaluthara district, we already facing that problem. Actually, I think it can manage. We can't put aside it is only this natural disaster.
That's right.
One thing, what happened in Kaluthara because of this mining of sands illegally up to 10 to 12 kilometers from the seaside, it's a main cause. So that's why one thing in dry season, the seawater is coming to the river, so it's very difficult to drink. It actually
because the salinity of the water is changing.
Yes. Then it happened 2 times in last year. Usually it happened in February, March, dry season. But then I raised that problem in the parliament. In that period, Minister Hakim responded that, but there's no definite plan or project to overcome that issue. So
I will send you, Dr. Nalinda.J, a comprehensive report which was done by the New Zealanders in 2007. They had the same sort of problems with flooding and so on. And in our clip this morning, we showed how the latest technological developments can actually help. There is a dredger, for example, that is very easy to deploy because it has its own legs and so on, and it's an amphibious thing. It can go in the water.
Actually, I very much appreciate your intervention as a media channel, this river basin management project. I saw several times that especially this the disaster in Kaluganga.
That's right. It's in the Kaluganga, as our images showed, when we look at Google Earth and we follow the progress of the Kaluganga upstream, in some places it's ever so small. And this is not because that's the way it is. It's because it hasn't been cleaned and there has been a total neglect, mismanagement of the river.
Actually, if we can manage this water flow, because it is the largest water flow in Sri Lanka.
That's right.
We can manage the flood disaster in Kaluthara and Rathamula district as well as we can give the water to a southern area.
That's right, because so, it can be diverted and so on.
Yeah.
But all this means that we need to do, like everything else, we need to have effective management.
Yes, and plan.
And a plan.
Yes.
You know, and the commitment to put it into place.
Yes.
Actually, implementation.
It needs a very strong political determination for the people.
Yes, and tongue in cheek, I will also say that it needs the same kind of determination that permitted some people to make an awful lot of money out of the central bank through the bond scam. And whether we like it or not, it's part of our contemporary history. It's here to stay. And unless we all look sharp, the government, the people who perpetrated this fraud, the greatest financial fraud ever to affect this country since independence, these will get away with it unless the focus is kept on there. So it's not News First battling on about this on their own. It's the whole country, because it's our money, yours, mine, and everybody else's, including all the people who work here, who don't work here, on the streets, everyone. It's their hard-earned money, the EPF money. But sorry to go on about this, but all I'm saying is, for the Disaster Management Center, released some figures the other day, maybe about a couple of weeks ago, and they confirmed that they've spent 5,300 million rupees on disaster relief and so on, and disaster management. That's an awful lot of money. For about ₹1 billion, if they allocate that to the management, the effective management of rivers, it will make a big difference to especially people in your district? Because we looked at the river mouth, and that was in a sorry state. And it has to be an ongoing process, because in the dry season you need to make sure that the seawater doesn't enter. So you need to fill it up. And when there's floods, it should be the reverse. And you need to be ready and able to do that.
And disaster management means not involving after the disaster or the
Yes.
relieving services.
Yes.
Management means before
Mitigate.
yes.
Yeah. Well, that's on the sidelines. But of course, yesterday we saw our members elect or select a deputy speaker. Are you happy with how things went? You're all right with that?
No, actually, what we expected yesterday, that we know this joint government, either is only now the government has 23 SLFP members. It names a joint government.
Yeah.
So UNP and SLFP has consensus that deputy speaker post should go to the SLFP side.
Right.
I think that's why Dr. Sudashini Pranandapulle's name came out. Otherwise, they know they have only maximum 70 seats in the parliament in the opposition now with 16 SLFP members.
Yeah.
But as a party, we decided not to involve this matter. So that's why we abstained. And we saw that the TN members also abstained, and there are nearly 18 joint opposition members either absent or abstain in this matter. So that is basically it's a matter of consensus between the two major parties.
Right. Now, how does it, I'm going to have to ask you this question, because it's called, NEWSLINE calls it the 1,200 million rupee question. The 1.2 billion question is, did you get any money from Arjun Aloysius and or associated companies, or any business associated with him or person associated with him?
Never.
Right. But how does it feel to sit amongst 224 others who you know that some of them have got these money? Well, we know that Dayasiri
Yes.
and the former army commander, Sarath Fonseca, by his own admission, got it. Although I would have...
and before that, Ravi K.
Well, yes, before that, Ravi K. But then that was not, we couldn't explain that really. Well, you know, it was there, but he said he didn't know. And what to do, you know, he doesn't know. Maybe you have to ask his daughter.
Yes.
Or the chairman of that company.
But if you can remember, the daughter said, it's not only my father.
Yes, unfortunately.
Like Dayasiri said,
Yes.
it's not only me.
Yes, but now, now this is the whole thing. Now, Dayasiri has done a lot of service, actually, to the people of our country, because somehow or other, he got hold of a figure. 118 is Dayasiri's figure. It's marvelous, these figures. I love them. But anyway, 118 is the figure. Now, a little bird told me that it was Austin Fernando who disclosed to Dayasiri this magic figure, 118. Now, of course, Austin Fernando is running around like a headless chicken, trying to hide behind all sorts of claims, saying that the National Archives and all this business. He has no right to withhold the information. And he must know it. He's been in the business for a long time. So come on, Austin, you know what you're doing.
You see that whenever people feel threat or fear, some problem, they call 119.
Oh, they call 119, but here they call it 118.
But I don't know this from where this marvelous figure came out, because I don't know. It's all the 118 persons are parliamentarians.
Right. Okay.
Maybe other persons include that. Anyway, it's very shameful, because now general public, common people, They suspect everyone.
That's right. That's right.
All the 225 members. And who really involved that issue.
Yeah.
Now what they are doing is they are creating some false list in the websites and FB.
Yeah.
So everyone, they want to involve everyone to that matter.
But that's because what they're doing, they're taking the focus away from the main thing. The main thing is the fraud.
I know that. I know one issue that just after revealed 6 UNP MPs in a presidential commission, within 48 hours, one of the website called Voice of Ceylon. I know that is funded by the man who got allegations in a presidential commission.
Right.
He put some names, including some UNPs, to what do you call that? To fake,
right,
or to fade the real culprits.
I see. To cover it all up.
Yes.
To paint over it.
Yes.
I wonder whether he's working for the United National Party, because sometimes we find that it's so sad to see this party, because you won't agree, because you're from the JVP, but it's so sad to see that the UNP, this majestic and this big powerhouse of a political party, to see the depths to which it has descended. It's very sad indeed. And unfortunately, you know, the facts are stubborn, the medicine is bitter, but it has to be said. The UNP has been led for the last this is the 24th year of his leadership, has been led by none other than Ranil Wickremesinghe. So whatever you say, that if there's a fault, then it lies with him. If there's a credit, also lies with him.
And you see, as we couldn't punish one person who involved that big scam, so he is tarnishing everywhere. The parliament, the democratic system, the people's representation, that everything is damaging by him because of one person. If we are able to do the punishment or the real investigation, and that's all.
Yes.
But still he's living in Singapore.
Well, that's right. The main perpetrator and the person identified by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry as having acted mala fide in the interest of perpetual treasuries by passing sensitive information and so on. It's in the report. You know, there's no question of our legal department getting panicked about this, what I'm saying, because it's in the report. I'm only telling you what's in the report. And it's a very sad state of affairs indeed. But in the meantime, we've got a few more minutes left, so I wanted to ask you this question. Why is your party trying to bring in this 20th Amendment?
It's from the beginning, that is in 1978.
Yeah.
We have been opposed the executive presidency. It's our party policy and principle.
Right.
Several times we tried through several times we tried to abolish that executive presidency during the presidential election period to get the promise from the winning candidate, especially in 1994.
Yeah. What did she do?
Yes, she promised to abolish it within 1 year.
Yes.
She gave the country, not the party, to the exact date, that is July 15, 1995. But she broke the promise.
But why? Why did she break the promise?
Whoever who sat this chair of executive presidency, they don't like to abolish it. That's our view. And in 2005, we supported Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Yeah.
And his main promise was to abolish executive presidency.
But later events showed that he lied to your party, because...
Not only our party, actually it's a promise to the people.
Yes, no, but according to WikiLeaks and the conversation that the then US ambassador had with Nalinda.J Faraz, and he says to him, but you said you're going to enter a partnership with the JVP. How can you do that? And according to this transcript, Nalinda says to him, look, I say things that I need to say at what is needed at the time, but I know how to play this game. In short, he admits that he is misleading the JVP and leading them up some mistaken path, and that after he secures power, he will dump them. And that's, history shows that that's what happened.
Not only he dumped the promise, actually he made that, he removed that term limit even.
Yes.
So it is more dangerous, the power of executive presidency. So all the SLFP leadership since 1988, since Mrs. Bandaranaike, Mrs. Chandrika Bandaranaike, Mahinda Rajapaksa and Maithripala Sirisena, all SLFP leadership promised to the country that if they came to the power, they abolished the executive presidency. So we are trying to use this political scenario. Actually, there are two political centers now, one with the president as well as other with the premier. So that's why we are reminding the joint government, both to the president as well as the prime minister, to keep their promise. So this is the chance. Actually, if we abolish the executive presidency, yes, we have a president and we have executive power, but not with one man. So we are trying to distribute or share the power with the cabinet and the parliament and the constitutional council. So it should not depend the attitude of the person, because it's matter of the country and the constitution and democracy.
Viewer from Kandy says abolishing the executive presidency without reforming parliament and parliamentarians and the process of election will not work.
Okay, we are ready to discuss the shortcomings and faults of this 20th Amendment. But we discuss it with whom oppose the executive presidency, right? Then we discuss and we can do some corrections or whatever. Yes, we accept that. We can amend the electoral system, but with any law or with any constitution, we can't change this political culture. It should be done by the people, because they have the mandate, they have the power to select or elect the correct person or the correct principles. Otherwise, with any laws, we can't amend that very corrupted political culture.
Another viewer says, what's the difference between an executive president and an executive prime minister?
No, we never allow for executive prime minister. There's no executive prime minister post. The power should vest on the parliament as well as the cabinet. Prime minister is the first person or the leader among the cabinet ministers, but all the executive powers enjoyed by the president should not go to the prime minister. The prime minister can remove any time in the no confidence motion in the parliament. But in our constitution, the president can't remove such a
the president's powers have been watered down, and some people say through the back door, by a prime minister who turned out to be far more savvier than the other. Because his powers are all cut down.
Now, what we are planning is, actually this is not only the abolishing executive presidency. We think to where this power should go to. That's why we propose to strengthen the independent commissions as the Constitutional Council, as well as the other constitutional bodies.
Yeah.
So by this amendment, we can make the Parliament to responsible for the people.
To make Parliament responsible.
And also, there's a president. There will be a president who is responsible over the Parliament as well as the country. So he can pass the cabinet papers to the cabinet, and he's the leader of the head of the state. No problem.
At the moment, Ranil Wickremesinghe as Prime Minister has got something called that cabinet within a cabinet, the Cabinet Economic Committee, I think, the CCEM. But now I think that's been disbanded.
Why not?
Because that seems to be the main, that is the cabinet, or it was the cabinet.
From the history, we can see there's kitchen cabinet in every cabinet.
Yes.
In Chandrika Bandaranage's period, it was her friends,
Yes.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Now the royal classmates. So we should change that. How we can change? We have to empower the parliamentarians, these individuals. They are the real representative of the people. Otherwise, we can't do.
Very quickly, because we finished actually, but very quickly, what about this proposal of the Prime Minister? Apparently, it's his proposal to make all the MPs monitoring MPs, and then they get paid another 700,000 a month.
That is way how Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe is going to settle the crisis inside his party. The crisis of the country.
But we can't bring the bribery commission in?
Otherwise, these deputy or state ministers are not supervising their ministries.
Yeah.
So how these ordinary MPs can supervise the ministries?
Right.
So this is because there's a very big dispute in the UN, inside the UN.
Is it like a bribe?
Yes, why not?
It is a bribe.
Yes, it is a bribe. And how it's his real practice, how he is managing such problems.
With graft and sleaze is the way forward at the United National Party. What a sad state of affairs. Is this the way forward for democracy? Really?
To get the democracy, actually the internal democracy is should establish.
So it's a bit like that saying, charity begins at home. So democracy must begin at your own party.
Your own party, as well as charity means, right?
Yeah.
It's not a charity.
No, it's not a charity. No, I know.
This is public.
This is the public money.
Yes. He can do.
But they took it to a
activities.
different level, Dr. Nalinda.J Faraz. They took it to a different level. They thought we'll first help ourselves, and so they robbed the central bank.
First help the family and the friends.
Yes.
Then his party members.
And the royal friend, the chairman of the United National Party at that time, was present at the infamous breakfast meeting, and he's now scuttling around trying to assure everybody that he didn't make any money.
Anyway, immediately we have to reveal all the culprits of...
When is this going to happen?
We urge the speaker to reveal all the documents from C1 to C350, all the documents to the parliament. Then we can see who are the big dealers with Aloysius.
Indeed, we look forward to that. Dr. Nalinda.J Faraz, thank you very much for being on Newsline, and that's the way it was on Newsline on Wednesday the 6th of June 2018. Take care, God bless.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.